The average American household in its 50s has about $185,000 saved for retirement, and that's only counting the people who saved anything at all. Nearly half have nothing in a retirement account. If that number just landed like a gut punch, good, because people don't end up there from bad luck or a small paycheck. They end up there from a short list of dead ordinary money mistakes, made quietly, in their 40s, that burn through the most valuable decade they'll ever get. In the next 10 minutes I'll walk through 7 of them, and exactly how to undo each one, even if you feel like you got a late start. Here's my promise. Not one of these needs a finance degree or a bigger paycheck. You just have to know where the leaks are. Let's start with the one that flat out costs you free money. If your job offers a 401k match and you're not putting in enough to get all of it, you're turning down a raise. I'm not being dramatic. A match is part of your pay that you only get if you go claim it. A common match is something like 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of your pay. On a $60,000 salary, that can be over $1,700 a year your employer will hand you, for free, that most people leave sitting there. Here's my honest take. This is the easiest money you will ever make, and I'd fix it before I touched anything fancier. The undo is dead simple. Log into your retirement plan this week, find the match formula, and nudge your contribution up just enough to catch all of it. Do nothing else this year and you're already ahead of most people. Now the flip side. A lot of people in their 40s are proudly putting money into investments while carrying a balance on a credit card, and the math on that quietly works against them. As of 2026, the average credit card charges around 22% interest on balances that carry. Meanwhile, the stock market has historically returned somewhere around 7% a year after inflation. Put those two numbers side by side. If you're paying 22% on debt to chase a 7% return, you're running up a down escalator. My point of view here is blunt. Paying off a high-interest card is about the only guaranteed return that actually exists in personal finance, and it beats almost anything you could pick out of the market. So after you've grabbed the free 401k match from mistake 1, throw every spare dollar at the highest rate card until it's gone. That's not playing it timid. That's earning 22% with no risk at all. This one's the opposite problem, and it hits the careful people hardest. After living through a crash or two, plenty of savers in their 40s park most of their money in cash or a savings account because it feels safe. Here's the kicker. Cash isn't actually safe, it's just losing quietly. If inflation runs 3% a year and your savings pays 1, you're going backward every single year, and you never see a scary red number to warn you. I want to be careful here, because this is education, not a push into anything specific. The point isn't that cash is bad. You need cash for emergencies. The point is that money you won't touch for 15 or 20 years, sitting entirely in a savings account, is money working part-time. So split the two jobs. Leave your safety cash right where it is, and let the long-haul retirement money actually get invested, usually in something simple and broad, not something clever. This is the mistake that makes me want to grab people by the shoulders and shake them a little, because the fix is sitting right there in the law with your name on it. Starting at age 50, the IRS lets you contribute far more to your retirement accounts than younger workers can. In 2026, the regular 401k limit is $24,500. But if you're 50 or older, you get a catch-up of $8,000 on top, bringing you to $32,500. And there's a newer wrinkle almost nobody has heard about. If you're between 60 and 63, a super catch-up pushes your total as high as $35,750 for the year. Here's my commentary, and I do feel strongly about it. This rule exists for exactly the person who feels behind. Congress basically left a note that says, if you got a late start, you're allowed to shovel money in faster. Almost nobody uses it, not because they can't, but because nobody ever told them it was sitting there. The undo is to know your age-based limit and aim toward it. Even getting partway there in your 50s, with a decade of growth on top, can reshape your whole retirement. One quick note: if you're a higher earner, starting in 2026, if you made over $150,000, those catch-up dollars generally have to go into the Roth side of your plan. Good to know so it doesn't surprise you. You probably file Social Security under later problems, but the biggest mistake with it is a decision you start making in your 40s, quietly assuming you'll just take it as early as you can. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. Claim at 62 instead, and your monthly check is cut by 30%, permanently, for the rest of your life. That's not a temporary trim you make up for later. It's locked in for good. My opinion. Claiming early can absolutely be the right call for some folks: health, a lost job, needing the income today, but that should be a decision you make with the real numbers in front of you, not a default you sleepwalk into. The undo starts now, in your 40s. Create your free account on the SSA website, look at your actual estimated benefit at 62 versus 67 versus 70, and let that shape how much you're saving on your own. Knowing that number changes everything about your plan. Here's how a good saver still ends up behind. They put money diligently into their 401k, but they have no cash cushion, so when the car dies or the roof leaks, the only place to grab money is the retirement account itself. Pulling money out of a traditional 401k or IRA before age 59 and a half usually means income tax plus a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top. So a $4,000 emergency ends up costing you a lot more than $4,000, and worse, you just yanked money out of the exact machine that was supposed to compound for 20 years. Here's my take. An emergency fund isn't the boring optional step everybody treats it as. It's the wall that keeps your own bad luck away from your retirement money. The undo is to build a starter cushion of even $1,000 first, then work toward a few months of expenses, kept in plain, boring savings. That cushion is what lets your invested money stay invested. The last one is quiet, and it's the reason plenty of high earners still retire with little lifestyle creep. Every raise turns into a slightly nicer car, a bigger place, more subscriptions, and savings never actually goes up. The undo is a rule I genuinely love for its simplicity. The next time you get a raise, send half of it straight to your future self before you ever see it, and live on the rest. You still feel richer, you just don't let the whole raise evaporate. And while we're talking about accounts people ignore, let me point at one most folks in their 40s overlook: the health savings account, or HSA. If you have a qualifying high-deductible health plan, in 2026 you can put in up to $4,400 as an individual or $8,750 as a family. Here's why I bring it up. It's the only account where the money can go in tax-free, grow tax-free, and come back out tax-free for qualified medical costs, and healthcare is one of the biggest bills you'll face in retirement. I'm not telling you to buy a thing. I'm telling you the account exists, and most people walk right past it. So there they are, 7 ordinary mistakes: skipping the match, investing over credit card debt, hiding in cash, ignoring the catch-up, sleepwalking into an early Social Security claim, having no emergency fund, and letting every raise disappear. Notice what they have in common. Not one of them requires a bigger salary. Every single fix is about pointing money you already have in a slightly smarter direction. One important reminder before you go. This is education, not financial advice. Your situation is yours alone, and a single sit-down with a fee-only advisor is worth the money before any big move. But if even 2 of these 7 landed, you just found leaks most people never spot. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I really am starting late and I need an actual plan, I made a whole video on exactly that. The realistic catch-up plan for people in their 40s with little saved. That's your natural next step, and it's right here.